Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Sheldon here, and today we're on the website of Brompton's auctioneers based in the UK, and we're going to have a look at one of their latest auctions, which is fine instruments and bows. This particular auction is finishing on the 24th of March. It's the 19th today, so a few days left to go. I'm going to try and view this auction actually in person at the weekend, so that should be interesting. So this is one of the highlights of the London, kind of March London bowed stringed instrument auctions, where there's quite a few happening at the same time from different auction houses. So I thought it would be nice to kind of just have a look through the catalogue and see if there's anything interesting. So those of you that are new to these videos, just going to blitz through this catalogue and just see if there's anything which catches my eye. Just to say, obviously, this is a UK-based auction, so bear that in mind if you're looking to bid, kind of import-export if you're overseas, CITES restrictions, all of that fun stuff. Now, they've been changing their website a bit recently, Brompton's. Usually, the buyer's premium's 20%, but there's an option that if you're the first to bid and you end up winning, it goes down to 18%, a bit like Teresia, but I'm not sure if that is valid anymore, because they have changed their website a bit, so worth checking that out in any case. 205 lots in this auction, lots of bows and instruments. Like I said, we're just going to blitz through it really and pick out stuff which is either really high value or kind of looks interesting, because otherwise we'll be here all day. And just to say, if you do enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing, like, comment, turn on notifications, all of that stuff, because it does help. So why not, let's have a look at lot 1 and see what's going on there. So like I said, they've changed their system recently, so it's a different layout, different kind of image system, etc. They had some problems on their last auction actually, in that the images were really not good, because I always like their Brompton's auction catalogue, quite enjoy looking at it, but it was quite bad. But it looks like they've brought it back now. They've got this magnifying glass thing, which I really liked, so that's good. So we've got a silver mounted violin bow by Alfred Lamy Père here. It's got a certificate of Pierre Guillaume, so that's always a good sign, especially for a French bow. So 4,000 to 6,000 on that. I said we're not going to go into everything, but just good to see what is occurring here. So we're going to have lots of French bows here. Let's have a look at this silver mounted violin bow by James Tubbs, probably one of the best English makers here. So stamped jazz Tubbs, 62 grams there, 4,000 to 6,000. Condition reports, I think you have to request them. Yeah, Brompton's used to actually have condition reports freely available, but now you have to request them. So I think Ingalls and Hayday do the same, so that seems to be like a common thing these days. 4,000 to 6,000 the estimate there. Nice looking bow. Like I said, James Tubbs, one of the best, well, if not the best English bow maker. So, as we always see in these kind of catalogues, kind of hill type bows here, Nürnbergers as well. See lots of Nürnbergers. Morrison Pair, like I said, we're not going to look into everything. Prel, another hill bow there, so we're going to see lots of these here. A few gold mounted bows here. Let's have a look at a gold mounted violin bow by W.E. Hill and Sons, why not? Octagonal stick there, 60 grams. Got a nice engraving there. Nice adjuster as well. Weight 60 grams, which is kind of bang on the money. So nice looking bow there. Not one of the top heeled bows. Those are usually tortoiseshell with a golden tortoiseshell with a fleur-de-lis on the frog. So that's a fairly plain looking one. Let's hear. Actually, this might be exactly the one I was talking about. So 6 to 8 on that. Yeah, so this is one of the really high level hill bows here, tortoiseshell with the gold fleur-de-lis. So these are some of the best bows. So 58 grams on this. CITES applicable, VAT on buyer's premium. Okay, so you'll pay an extra fee for that, so just bear that in mind. But yeah, these anything gold mounted tortoiseshell with the fleur-de-lis, that's a high level bow, or silver mounted tortoiseshell with the fleur-de-lis is also a really high end bow, so worth looking at that. Jean-Joseph Martin there, another hill bow. I mean, there's so many hill bows floating around. Okay, so we've got a nickel mounted violin bow by Francois Pacat here, It's got a certificate of Salcher and Sons in New York, so in terms of kind of American certificates, that's really really good to have. Of course, sadly, Paul Childs died several months ago, who was probably the leading American expert on bows, or French bows in any case. So anyway, a nice bow here by Francois Pacat, 62.5 grams there, 10 to 15, so that's a serious bow, worth looking at the condition report on that, or giving it a try in the auction. See more hill bows here, and it's a crazy amount. Okay, so we've got silver mounted tortoiseshell, so I wonder if this has the fleur-de-lis or if it's not. Let's see. Okay, no, this has just got a kind of pearl eye and a silver ring, so, but nice bow. And this probably has the stamps. Some of the hill bows have number stamps or other stamps for specific makers, so they know that this was made by Edgar Bishop, 3.5 to 5. It'd be great to know actually how many bows the Hill Workshop made. It must be an insane amount. We've got a silver mounted violin bow by Eugene Sartre here. Looking at that estimate, there must be some issue with it. 5 to 7, yep, splined head. We saw that in some of the Amati auctions recently. If you see a Sartre bow, or a bow being sold as by Sartre, and it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, or even 8 grand, then you know that something's wrong with it, because you'd be looking at 10 to 20 otherwise. It's got a certificate of Bernard Millant, actually, so that's good. Who was the most respected kind of bow expert of all time. That died quite a while ago now. So always interesting to see that. But as I always say, this is, if you are a player and this bow is well repaired, then it's always a good opportunity to get a bow at like a lower price, like a really fine bow at a lower price. So I think that is quite interesting. Vikehold, see, here we go, silver mounted violin bow using Sartre, 12 to 18, current bid 10. This is more what we'd expect here, so it's got a Sylvestre stamp there. So certificate of Cabinet d'Archetier is the other kind of group of experts in France that are definitely worth getting certificates from. So that all looks pretty good. Weight 61 grams. Let's see what else we got here. More Nürnbergers. Alfred Lamipere, that looks like a fairly nice bow as well. Certificate of the Cabinet d'Archetiers as well. Looking at a few more bows than I thought, actually. Okay, workshop of Pierre Guillaume. So along with kind of certifying bows, Pierre Guillaume actually makes bows, or did make bows himself, and has a workshop and stuff, so that's kind of good. The James Tubbs bow there. Another Sartre, so this one 18 to 25, so 64 grams on that. That's kind of slightly heavier than some others. So once again, always worth getting the condition report, but at that kind of estimate, I presume it's in pretty good condition. Tortoiseshell violin bow by Alfred Tubbs. Okay, interesting. 7 to 10. One of the other Tubbs family makers. Plain tortoiseshell frog. That actually quite a nice looking bow there from the aesthetics. 55 grams. A little bit on the lighter side there. But nevertheless, kind of interesting. Let's see. Lots of tortoiseshell mounted bows. I wonder if people are kind of getting rid of them because it's difficult to travel with a lot of these bows. But another nice looking bow there by Joseph Alfred Lamipere. Current bid 15,000. So some really nice bows in this auction for sure. You can always, I guess, get a new frog made for a bow like that and just keep the tortoiseshell one separately. Silver and ivory mounted bow. We saw, I think, an ivory mounted hill bow in one of the other auctions. So aesthetics wise, it doesn't really do it for me, to be honest. 3 to 5 the estimate on that. The Praja, that's good. Joseph Martin. Hill again. Right, we're on to violins now, of which there's going to be so many interesting ones, it's going to be difficult to know what to look at and what not to look at. But let's have a look at some kind of modern Italian stuff, why not? Violin by Rodolfo Marchini, Rome, 1985. 356 length of back, 5 to 8 is the estimate. Looks kind of nice enough. You can click on for a high resolution image. Looks fairly kind of standard kind of stuff there. Let's have a look at this. A violin, probably Central Italy, 1800. 357 length of back, unlabelled. Nice looking instrument there. That's pretty cool. I said we're not going to look at everything here. Stuff, nice stuff from Vienna. Some French stuff here. Rudolf Wurlitzer, that's interesting to see as well. Some kind of other stuff here. French Corsair School. So George Crask, why not? We've got to have a look at a Crask when we've got the opportunity there. One of the ones sold through the Hill shop there with the Hill label. Looks nice enough, yeah. Quite a nice looking Crask. Some of them are a bit dubious. See what else we got here. Another kind of early 20th century Italian there. Aristide Cavalli. 3 to 5 on that. Okay, we can go through some more modern Italian there. Paul Bailly, popular French maker, but let's go past that. Violin by Henry Briggs, Edinburgh. Let's have a look. I do like a good Scottish violin, so why not? Let's have a look at this one. 357 length of back. This is a rare example by the son of James Briggs. Okay, interesting. Wow, beautiful piece of wood there for the back. Let's kind of zoom in. Yeah, that's quite striking. 1500 to 2000 on that, so that is fairly nice estimate. It's not bad, an affordable option there. Right, a violin by Joseph Panormo, London, circa 1810. Oh right, the violin belonged to the late Lord Nelson. Interesting. 355 length of back. Certificate of John Dilworth available to purchase. 8 to 10 on that. Obviously needs a substantial amount of work. It's got this big brick repair at the button, which is unfortunate, but still kind of a not too unreasonable opportunity to all own a Panormo there. Okay, violin by Francois Vial, Monaco. Not a maker that I think I've heard of before. 357 length about. It looks like a very strong scroll there. I like that. That's cool. I do like that. It's a nice looking scroll there. Nice workmanship on that. 4 to 6. Very cool. Yep, that's. I'll keep an eye out on that maker. Derazi, always popular. Are we going to look at it? We're going to lure into the French. I don't want to look at too many French things. Miracle 1860. Signed attorney JB Viome. Length back 361. Yeah, nice enough looking thing. Not my cup of tea, but interesting. Paul L'Orange there. Right, violin by W.E. Hill and Sons, London, 1895. Okay, that's quite an early shop violin then for the Hills. It's really, some of these early Hills are quite nice. That's really beautiful back there. There's some interesting varnishes in use for some of these Hill violins. I've seen some before that are quite almost luminescent varnishes. This one looks like it has quite a striking varnish there. 10 to 15, current bid 8. It's not bad for a Hill violin. They can fetch fairly good money. Another one here. Some of them I think were kind of imported and kind of finished in the workshop and all sorts of other things here. Maybe this one that's kind of slightly lower estimate is one of those, but looks fairly nice enough violin, not as nice as the other one, I don't think, though. Heberlein there, column Mazar, we're not going to go past that. Nice kind of 18th century French violin, which I do like. It's got a Ramble certificate there. 357 length of back. So, yeah, instrument. Interesting. Let's see what else we got here. Right, a violin by Guy Aubrey Griffin, Sydney 1926, after Guarneri, 352 length of back on that. 5 to 8 on that. More French stuff here. Mario Garda, let's kind of not go into that today. Right, Testore. We saw a Testore recently in the Amati auction, I think. Violin Testore family Milan, circa 1740, 355 length of back. Milanese Table by Another Hand, Dendra from Peter Ratcliffe, 1690, with cross matches of other Milanese makers, so maybe a replacement kind of top made at the same time or shortly afterwards, or maybe an apprentice or whatever. They got one of the youngsters to make it, who knows. Quirky looking thing though. I do like Testore instruments, so let's look at the side profile of the scroll. Yeah, they're so interesting, the Testore family instruments. They've got a video as well of someone playing it if you want to have a look at it. Let's not do that for now though. Wow, so many. Oh, I'm sure I read that as Hill and Sons. This is different. Hart and Sons violin, circa 1900. Okay, Blondelet violin, possibly Naples, circa 1880. Okay. 358, the length of back on that. Right, violin by Massimo Negroni, there, 354, Cremona. So 2024, it's a recent one, 4 to 6, current bids of 4. So interesting. Some more French stuff here. Robert Thompson, standard 18th century kind of London stuff there. Mario Garda there. Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, James Briggs. So we've got the father and the son here. Let's have a look at this. A violin by Jabran Yacoub, Cremona 2008, 355. Certificate of the maker, 5 to 8 on that. Definitely not a maker that I've heard of before, but always interested to see some of the modern-ish work, 21st century makers, so curious. So Kausa here. Okay, Remedio Muncher. I think let's just keep going for now. Let's not go too crazy. Let's have a look at this violin. Catania. A violin by Reale Puglisi, Catania. 1921. 4 to 6 is the estimate. Violin attributed to Giacomo Zanoli. I think we might have seen that before. Perry violin, I do like those, but maybe we won't look at that today. Some more bows. We're going to have to be a bit brutal about bows. Chased gold mounted viola bow. We're on violas now, so we should probably look at a few. Let's have a look at this Vorat, 25 to 30,000. Silver mounted viola bow by Francois Nicolas Vorat. It's got a sales receipt from J&A Beer, 64 grams. Kind of fairly light-ish for a viola bow, I think. Let's see what else we got here. Nothing too crazy on the bows there, but let's have a look. Oh, there's a Krask viola. Viola Klotzkuhl Mittenwald 381. That's quite small. It's got a hill number. Anything that went through the hill shop usually got a stamp on the fingerboard, or some other marking sometimes in other places. Viola by George Craske. I have to say the Craske violas are amazing. They're much better than the violins in my opinion. They're always really nice, the violas. Not so keen on that backward, to be honest. 397, that's a fairly respectable size. Maybe a bit small for some of the modern players, but pretty good. Let's see. A viola by Arturo Fracassi, Cesena, 1961. 415, now that's a good size for a modern player. Quite nice, interesting back wood there. Not a maker I know, but I have heard of, but I'm assuming kind of some importance given the estimate. Now this is interesting. A viola, Circle of Gasparo Bertolotti da Salo, Russia, circa 1590, one of the very early kind of makers of modern kind of violin viola family of instruments. Peter Ratcliffe Gendro, 1510 and 1584. So that's kind of interesting. 40 to 60, it's already got a bid on it. Not the most attractive instrument, if I'm being honest, and I do like really kind of rough looking stuff, but scroll definitely pretty cool though. Yeah, interesting. Well, it's good to see this kind of stuff about. Right, some more violas here. Stefano Cogna is quite well-known modern maker. Lawrence Cocker makes the split cane bows, also lots of violas, usually fairly nice. Viola by Nicholas Dorfler, Maine, circa 1750, 411 length of back. That's pretty good length of back for an older instrument. Interesting F-hole positions. You can see that the arching is quite high. It comes in low at the edges and then picks up nice wood on the back there. It's a nice looking piece of wood. Interesting viola, slightly quirky, but I quite like that. What else do we have here? We've got a Marassi, interesting Marassi viola, and I think they've Amati have a Marassi cello. So should have. Well, let's have a quick look at this. Why not? We're here. Certificate of the maker from 2014, 415. Obviously, highly regarded maker and teacher. Paul Voigt, but let's go past that. Right, viola after G.B. Guadagnini, second half of the 19th century. It's got a Hill label. Peter Ratcliffe's Dendro, 1711 and 1761. Interesting. Yeah, 20 to 30 on that. Curious looking item. Right, more violas. Actually quite a good choice of violas here. Viola Carlo Coletti there. Enzo Barbieri. Riccardo Ancinazzi, another important modern maker there. Length of back 408. Eric Blott certificate there. Cremona, one of the experts on modern Italian instruments. 30 to 40 on that. Matthias Klotz viola. It's kind of worth having a look. Actually surprised by the quality of violas. 417 on that. William Forster, one of the really great English makers there, 6 to 9. 392 length of back on that. Yeah, nice looking viola, maybe tiny bit on the smaller side for some of the kind of modern players. Viola by Samuel Gilks, London, circa 1800. Okay, interesting. Certificate of Volta Hammer and Co. Stuttgart. Okay. 387. It's quite small, but a lot of the English violas actually from that time are fairly small. Interesting looking nevertheless. See what else we've got here. Another kind of Klotz family. This one actually a bit nicer than some of the others we looked at. 416 length of back. Yeah, generally a good kind of showing of violas actually. A Cennino here, Vincenzo Cennino. Certificate of Hans Weisser, where it was attributed to Johannes Galliano. Interesting. 50 to 70, 46, good modern size there. Got a Wilfred Saunders here, Nottingham 1976. Wilfred Saunders violin in the Amati sale. 417 length of back. Kind of more well known for violas, I think, than violins. Interesting crackle on the varnish there. 3 to 5 seems about right. Viola 20th century, William Smith Stockport. Kind of curious looking viola there. Yeah, really good choice of violas actually. So if you're into violas, not a bad auction to check out. Right, cello bows. So let's expect to see some cellos soon. Okay, nickel-mounted cello bow by Claude Thomasin. Okay, 7 to 10 on that. Nice head. Interesting, quite dark grain line there. I'd be interested to kind of check the condition report on that and inspect that bow. Silver mounted cello bow here, quite a high estimate, 5 to 8 with no attribution. So that is curious. Let's see, a couple of interesting French bows here. Charles Bazaf for Pacat and Andre Vigneron, but let's have a look at this silver mounted cello bow by Emile Auguste Houchard. Stamped Emile A. Houchard, New York. Okay, 12 to 18 on that. It's got the Cabinet de Archetier. Golden tortoiseshell mounted cello bow by Nürnberger. Let's have a look at that. One of really good German makers. Silver mounted cello bow by Dodd. Always worth looking at some of the Dodd stuff there. Later mounts probably by James Tubbs. Interesting. Ooh, okay, high end bow here. Silver mounted cello bow by Dominique Pacat for JBVO. Ex Leonard Rose. With certificate there, 80 grams. Current bid 46,000. Yeah, nice looking bow, beautiful. Yeah, that's a nice bow. Definitely be interested to see the condition report for that. Okay, interesting self-rehairing model. So, but it's been plugged. So ordinarily you would have kind of dropped in the hair there, and it would have be on a metal kind of loop, and you would have had the same at the frog as well. So obviously that's been repaired. So yeah, I often think they should bring that back actually, because rehairs are so expensive these days, and people are struggling to get rehairs because there's such a backlog, at least in London. So wow, there's some crazy cello bows actually. Got a Sartre cello bow here. Kind of surprised actually how many amazing bows are in this auction. Original lapping. That's fairly rare. Another Houchard here. But yeah, I think we've got some crazy stuff going on here. Okay, so we have a silver mounted cello bow by Francois Javier Tort, Paris, circa 1815. So the most famous of all the bow makers here. It's got a Cabinet d'Archetier certificate. It's got a later frog though, but this is the bow. Current bid 50,000, estimate 60 to 80. That will do well without question. That will do very well. So that's very interesting bow. Now we've got some cellos here. Bruno Barbieri, John Ferber, 7 to 10. Always interested in some of the output of the Ferber workshops. Looks like kind of painted flame, I think, on that. Interesting. Okay, what else we got here? Cello 1870. Cello School of Cerruti. Labelled Grancino. Certificate of Dimitri Gindin, London 2024. Length back 753. Dimitri Gindin, along with Eric Blott, one of the kind of experts on kind of Italian instruments, especially modern Italian. Interesting slab cut back there. Can we see the certificate? No, we can't. So don't know what the certificate says, but interesting enough. Cello by Giuseppe Ornati, Milan, 1923. Another one with the Gindin certificate. I don't think we're given access to see that. Durasi cello there. Nice John Betts. Always worth looking at the Betts cellos. 15 to 20 on that. Next to another great English cello by one of the, well, Kennedy School, I suppose, so not necessarily attributed to, but definitely looks like a Kennedy cello. 7 to 10 on that. Cello probably by Augusto Leone, Rome, 1900. Front not original and earlier, later scroll by the Gonzalez Workshop. Okay, interesting. 8 to 12 on that. Right, so now we do have a Kennedy actually, and the estimate is basically exactly the same as the School of Kennedy one. Certificate from John Dilworth on this one. Does obviously need a bridge and some setup. Be interesting to see the condition report on this one. Interesting kind of sporting here, like disease on the tree coming here on this really interesting bird's eye back. I've been unfortunate kind of position there on the back, but still interesting nevertheless. Okay, what else do we have here? A cello by Auguste Delivet, Paris, 1898. Let's look at something French. I've been incredibly harsh on French instruments at the moment, 10 to 15. I've just find them a little bit dull, to be quite honest. Let's have a look at double bass, because we don't see many. Double bass by Pierluigi Galletti, Cremona, 1987. 10 to 15,000 on that. Do wonder if this has been in one of the auctions before. I kind of forget. Something a bit different. A classical guitar by Hernandez Aguado, Madrid, 1971. Not really up on a lot of the classical makers, but 25 to 35, so must assume that it's a fairly big deal. Couple of books, and we're getting towards the end of the auction here. So now I think we're at our top flight instruments. So got a violin by Giovanni Battista Gabrielli, Florence, circa 1755, 352 millimeters there. It's got a certificate from Florian Leonard there, and a J and a beer receipt. Current bid 15,000. Quite high arching on some of these Gabrielli violins, but interesting enough. Unfortunate repair there at the button, but sure it can be improved. And Dendro from Peter Ratcliffe, so interesting looking violin. Feel like a lot of these kind of like makers from Florence are quite kind of undervalued in a way, but in any case, violin by Jacob Horrell, Rome, circa 1750, 358, length of back there. Another certificate from Florian, 25 to 40, actually fairly long length of back there. I think Jacob Horrell is one of the kind of German makers, a few of which seem to have ended up in Rome at that period. That's Pierre Joseph Hell. I was just about to avoid that, but then I thought I'd better look at something French. Another kind of popular maker there. Violin, Violin School, circa 1840. This might be popular. 357 length of back. Yeah, nice looking back actually. Nice kind of varnish to that. So 15 to 20 on that. Okay. Venetian School, attributed to Domenico Montagnana. 351 length of back. Another Peter Ratcliffe there. Copy certificate of Emile Francais. Yeah, nice enough. Sylvestre there, but let's ignore that because we can't do too many French instruments. Violin attributed to Domenico Montagnana, so 2 here, looking quite different. This one with a Hill number. Certificates of Rudolf Wurlitzer as well. This violin was for many years the prized instrument of a well-known West Coast concert master. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I think Montagnana more valued for cellos than violins, but interesting anyway. Another 20th century Italian there. Marchetti. Let's have a look, why not, while we're here. Enrico Marchetti, certificate of Carlson and Newman and Cremona. It's always good certificate to have as well. Other good kind of experts, 40 to 60. Violin by Giovanni de Lenz, Trieste. This is an interesting maker actually. 350 length of back, certificate of J&A Beer. 30 to 40 the estimate. Pretty awesome scroll. That's what I like to look for in a scroll. Some pretty bonkers stuff going on there. So we like to see that. Right, Galliano, always good. Violin by Niccolo Galliano, Naples 1760, length of back 354. Hill number as well on that. You can buy the reissue certificate apparently. Beautiful back on that actually. Look at that, really nice piece of wood. That's classy looking instrument there. Worth looking at the condition report for that violin, given the estimate's fairly low. Marchetti there, Sylvestre. Okay, another Marchetti there. Let's have a look, why not? Interesting model after Testore. Okay, 359 length of back. It was definitely an attempt at Testore. Right, a violin by Simone Fernando Sacconi, 1968, 357, Florian Leonhard certificate. Exceptional state of preservation, 50 to 80,000 on that. Very important maker, researcher, etc. Right, violin by Orsolo Gotti, Pieve di Cento, 357 for that one. Okay, we're on to our final page and we're not far off from the end now. Di Barbieri. Right, Alfonso della Corte, Naples, circa 1860. Certificate of Jacques Francais says it's a Galliano. 351 length of back there, 45 to 55. Got a Kappa, seen a lot of Kappas recently. 355 length of back. It's got a Peter Biddulph certificate, recent one. Okay, 70 to 100,000 is the estimate on that. And Odone there. We're into high levels here. Kind of modern Italian stuff. 354 length of back, nice kind of wood there at the back. Right, Carlo Giuseppe Testore, Milan circa 1710. Okay, 354. The back decoratively inlaid with ebony, representing the Holy Trinity, later Italian scroll. Now that's unfortunate because the testore scrolls are brilliant, so the fact that it doesn't have it is unfortunate. That's an interesting back inlay as well. I'm not sure how popular that's going to be. That's a high estimate. I think I prefer the testore in the Amati auction, to be quite honest. A rocker, always popular maker as well, 355, Eric Blott certificate, exceptional state of preservation. Interesting. And what else do we have here? Raffaele Fiorini. We might as well look at these because they're here. 359, illustrated in Lutria Italiana Moderna by Ciro Moscella. 80 to 100,000 on that. Yeah, that's a nice back, isn't it? Looks like a nice instrument, another important maker. Right, Gragnani here. 351 length the back. Certificate William Lewis and W. Hill and Sons. 90 to 830 on that. 351 length the back. Nice French violin here. Violin by Nicolas Lupo, Orléans. 359 length the back. Rampal certificate there. Certificate of Serge Boyer. 100 to 150,000 there. That's a nice piece of wood on the back as well. Very nice indeed. Yeah, some nice instruments in this. 359 is fairly large. The French dude always want to go a bit larger than everyone else for some reason. Violin by Pietro Giacomo Ruggeri, Brescia, 1715. 351 length the back. Violin has been in the possession of the same musician for over 50 years. It's got Peter Ratcliffe dendro as well. That's also a nice kind of piece of wood there for the back. And a couple more left to go. See another Galliano here. 354. Wurlitzer certificate there, 150 to 200,000 on that. And we've got a Landolfi here. Milan, circa 1760. Length of back 352. J&A beer certificate. So it's a nice looking violin. I think is this the last one. They were originally going to have a Strad for sale in this auction, but it disappeared at some point, so I'm not sure what happened to that. But in anyway, another Nicolas Lupo here, the Ex Cosile or something like that. Probably completely bastardised that one, but there we go. Right, 357 length of back, so a little bit more friendly there. Oh, it's got its original neck, okay, and a Caressa and Francais certificate. Interesting. In the last years of his life, it's known that Guillaume Gand assisted Nicolas Lupo. Okay. 250 to 350,000. Okay. Somewhere I think I saw they had some words from John Dilworth on this instrument, I think, saying that it was one of the nicest examples of a Lupo to exist. Yeah, look at that beautiful piece of wood, beautiful varnish on that. That's a nice French violin for sure. It's beautifully strong varnish on that. Very nice indeed. There's the Caressa and Francais certificate there. Well, anyway, I think that's the end there. That is the March auction catalogue for Bromptons. Have to say, actually quite an impressive auction. Quite enjoyed looking through that actually, and surprised by how many good and interesting bows there were. So yeah, all in all, very enjoyable. Put a link to the description in the a link to the website in the description to the video. Check it out, see what you think. If you've got any comments or questions, please let me know. But yeah, pretty good, and stand by for more videos coming soon. Thanks a lot and take care. Bye.